Welcome to the Daily Dish with New York Times bestselling author Leanne Ely. Putting vibrancy back into your everyday life and feeding your heart, mind, body, and soul. Join us every day at 1 p.m. Eastern for Motivational Monday, Tuesday's Tip, Wise Woman's Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Food Fight Friday, and of course Q&A, where no question is off limits, and Soulful Saturday. Here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
It's Wise Women's Wednesday, and all the wise women are showing up. I love that. Catherine's in the house. Lily, Nancy, Kathy, Helen. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Look at me with my messy. Yeah, you can see my messy side table there. I've been working this morning. How about you? It's good to see you all. Thanks so much for showing up. We've been going through this whole idea of myths and what myths are out there that are holding us back from whatever it is that we want in our lives. And yesterday we went through the whole this whole diet stuff, and I can't believe that we got really good feedback from you. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Hi, Marguerite and Doris and Carla. And you know what I have found is that, sometimes we just need to hear that maybe that's not true, because here is the thing that happens to us. We get wrapped up in this and we go forward thinking that this is true. And when we find out it's not, we're just gobsmacked. How do we even, move from this? Someone did this with me and said, it's not true about the coffee and tea thing being a diuretic, when we were talking about hydration a while back. And, I was like, no, that cannot be. In all my years, blah, blah, blah. So I looked it up and sure enough, that's what happened. Hey there, Lisa, or Melissa, however you want to go with it. Joanne's in the house. So is Susan. We've got Lily here as well, Juanita. I'm so glad you're all here. Isn't it so fun to see all of our wise women? And of course, our Joanne, our wise woman crown. Tanya's here. Juanita is too. I'm really excited about this, by the way. I'm excited to take you through this next myth because I think a lot of you are going to see yourselves in this. I sure saw myself in it. And I hope that this is going to be really helpful. Today's thing will be really helpful. Our quote of the week, right? I have grit, not quit. Man, that is the call of the wild, girlfriends. Am I right? You know it. You know it's right. Hi, Lynn. I have a mug that says this too. I have grit, not quit. And I'll tell you what, I think, if we can get past this notion of perfect and get into the place of good enough, and it's excellent, not perfect, boy, that's going to change our lives. It will change everything. Everything. Q&A's Friday, you know that, right? Send in your questions today. How about that? I'm giving you an assignment. Send them in to support@savingdinner.com. That's your email address. Question for Leanne on Friday goes right there in the subject line, and I will get to it. Okay? I love it when you send in questions on Friday because it helps. I know that somebody else is thinking the same thing. I do know that. We are also starting the sprint on Monday. You do not want to miss this sprint. This is the second to last sprint for this year. I want you there. I want you there wholeheartedly. No holds barred. Let's get into it. Let's do it. Pinkies up for the sprint. The sprint is what put a lot of you on this journey toward better health, toward pain-free living, toward a life that you're proud of. Because it spurs a lot of things on, doesn't it? When you get rid of the inflammation and you quit feeling so crappy all the time. Isn't that the truth? I noticed that for myself. I know that that's absolutely 100%. We're also looking at today as being the last 65 days of the year left. You ready for that? Are you ready to go through the holidays without going off the rails and doing crazy stuff like maybe you've done every other year of the holidays? And then regretting what it feels like on January 2nd when you go to put on your jeans? Does it sound familiar? Or the fact that you didn't get your goals accomplished, or 2021 looked a lot like 2020. Let's fix it. No, it's not too late. Now is the time. I'm going to be doing a workshop on Thursday, November 4th to show you how to set up and really get after those goals that you really want to see happen in 2021. Okay? Here's the thing you need to know though. You need to have a Take Back Your Life journal. So go to savingdinner.com/holiday, watch the webinar, get your journal, do all the things, and then I'm going to take you all the way through this with a big training because it's going to blow your mind on what you can accomplish in just 65 days. Seriously, not kidding about that. So we are giving crock pot ebooks away all this month. Well, there's only a few more days left of this month. Have you noticed how quickly this month has gone? Woo! Just like that. Well, this is something that we've been doing. We've been offering a recipe every day on our social media channels. And I'll tell you what, I love this whole idea of doing things in one pot. It's delicious. Number one, it's easy, gets things accomplished, and there's so little cleanup. How about a free book for $37? It's an ebook. We give it to you with every single purchase, right? So check that out. You'll get it in your receipt when you, whatever it is that you purchase from us. And speaking of that, our show supplement, our supplement of the week, that's my show supplement altogether. How do you like that? Hello, Helen. She loves her crockpot. So do I, don't we all? Supplement of the week is Digestives. Listen, I shared some real tidbits on the Sprint webinar this last Monday. Hi, Angie. And you know what I said about these Digestives? They help with autophagy, and actually, they also help get into ketosis. They help with the ketosis cleanup. So it's really interesting what's so good about digestive enzymes. And I will tell you, if you have digestive upset, if you feel like you're taking Tums all the time, it's not because you have too much stomach acid. It's because your stomach acid is crawling up your esophagus. That's what it is. We need more stomach acid in our stomachs to digest things up. Did you know that? It'll change your life. That's why we have two different formulas in our cart. You know, we don't have a whole lot of supplements, but what we do have are needle movers, proven needle movers, both by the science, both by personal recommendation out of a nutritionist who's been doing this for 20 something years. When I discovered digestive enzymes, my life changed. I could eat steak again. I could eat and not feel like I was dragging around bricks in my stomach. I didn't have to run to the bathroom, none of that stuff. So if you have any kind of a digestive situation, try Digestives and see if they don't change your life like they changed mine. Absolutely critical. savingdinner.com/show. That will help you out. You're right, Joanne. And the difference, I had somebody ask, which I thought was a great question on the Sprint, when we did the Sprint webinar. What about ACV? What about digestive enzymes? Now, ACV, apple cider vinegar, is really good for digesting fat and to really helping to stimulate your bile and helping you to digest fat. Digestives is going to help you with that too, but it's going after the protein as well. So that's what I like. It's full spectrum is what the Digestives, and ACV is a little bit more narrow, but yes, it helps with digestion. As a matter of fact, I take both. I'm all about it. And when I discovered how easy it is just to take these digestive enzymes and to allow them to help you with autophagy, come on. How can I not be on that? Right? You know exactly what I'm talking about. So there you go. That is everything. And of course, you know, you're going to find us on all of our channels. We're on TikTok. That is tiktok.com/savingdinner. Instagram.com just saving dinner. Right here on Facebook, as you know, because here you are, aren't you? Yay. Anyway, hi, Gloria. I'm glad you're here. We're talking about myths this week. Has anybody found this helpful, by the way? Anybody? I had a couple of people tell me privately that they found yesterday's information about the 10 Mythbusters about weight loss to be very helpful. And it's not like I haven't talked about these things before, but I put them all together in one big document, if you will. And by the way, all of our information is always available for you for the show notes on our newsletter, which you get once a day, right? Once a day. We're really careful about that. We know how you feel about emails. Feel the same way. I want to make sure that our emails are something that really help you out. Okay. And in it, we have everything. So there's recipes, there's telling you about a deal that's coming up. And of course, the newsletter is also going to feature our show notes. And that's where yesterday's show notes were. So just go to savemedinner.com. I promise you, an annoying little pop-up will come up. Isn't it terrible? I hate those things, but they're effective. That's why we use them. Even if you have a pop-up blopper, no worries. We have it on the sidebar as well. So check it out. Get signed up for our newsletters. I think you'll find them super helpful. Now, let's get into this myth of, you ready? The perfect plan. Anyone? Anyone guilty? All right, tell me if you've heard this one before. There was a praying man who was also in dire need of some help. His whole housing development had flooded, and he's on the roof of his house praying to God to help him, to save me. He said, God, save me. God, help me. Soon, a man with a rowboat appeared and said, hop on down. I'll take you to safety. And the man says, no, it's okay. I'm praying to God, and he's going to save me. So the man says, okay, whatever turns your key, right? And off he goes. Next thing you know, a few minutes later, a motorboat appears, and the man says, hey, come on in here. He says, jump in, I can save you. And he says, no, it's okay. I've prayed to God. God is going to save me. So the same, the motorboat operator just shrugs his shoulders and goes, okay, dude, whatever. And off he goes. 5 minutes later, a helicopter appears. The water's getting closer and closer to this man. The helicopter appears, and what happens? The helicopter man, the pilot says, come on down. I'm going to throw down a ladder, climb the ladder. I'll take you to safety. And the man says, no, it's okay. I'm praying to God, and he is going to save me. And the helicopter kept saying, no, man, I'm here to save you. You got to get on this thing. It's getting too late. And he's kept insisting, no, God is going to save me. So the helicopter guy flies off. And then the water rose, the man drowned, and he's up in heaven. The man goes to heaven, he's up in heaven. And he finally says to God, he was a little bit cranky, and he said to God, I had faith in you, but you didn't save me. Why? And God says to this, I sent you a rowboat, a motorboat, and a helicopter. What more did you expect? And I think that this perfectly shows us, excuse the word perfect, our whole idea of it needs to be a certain way. Even when there are other options out there, we pick apart things, we look at things, and we think it's not quite perfect. You know, I get this all the time with, oh my God, I'm not doing the sprint because of this black coffee thing, right? Right. I get this a lot, and I've heard it before a lot, and I've actually done those things myself. But this notion of perfect is exactly what the carousel of crazy is. That we find something until we find a fault in it, until I just can't do that. It's just too overwhelming. It's too hard. It's too this. That's one avenue. Or, nah, not for me. And oh my gosh, there's pork on that. I can't eat that because of that. Oh my goodness. You know, if it were plant-based, maybe, but it's this. Oh no, I can't do that because this fasting thing, I have hypoglycemia. And on it goes. In other words, the excellence of the plan is not good enough, but perfect's out there. So boom, 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 hop, 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 back onto the carousel of crazy we go, looking for perfect. The rowboat, the motorboat, and the helicopter are not enough. You want the hand of God himself to pick you up and take you out of that situation. You've heard me quote Derek Silvers, the owner of CD Baby, and I'm sure he's done something else, but he owned CD Baby at once upon a time. I guess CDs aren't quite a thing anymore. And he said, if more information was the answer, we'd all be billionaires with six-pack abs. And I think right now, I think the call to action here is this. It's time to step away from this kind of behavior, because it's this kind of behavior that takes us down a path of never good enough, of never being actionable, of never getting anything done. We sit paralyzed in our perfection. We sit paralyzed in this idea that if we just look a little harder, if we just do this a little bit, whatever, or if we mimic and follow someone exactly the way that they do things and all of that, that we will finally come to this place of nirvana and it'll all fall into place perfectly. And I say no. I look at this and I go, really? When we were little kids, fairy tales were the whole thing. We were little princesses. We dressed up like princesses, thinking that actual princes were going to come along, right? And then we grew up and found out, not maybe, or maybe that prince is more, I don't know, a dwarf with a wart on his nose. Who knows? But we believed somehow that it existed, that pixie dust and magic wands, and somehow or another in that horizon, someday my prince will come. And the good book says this: when I was a child, I spoke like a child. But when I became a woman, I'm taking a little latitude here, I put away childish things. I put away childish things. So I look at this and I think what childish things are is this picture perfect notion of the perfect plan, of the perfect life situation, of the perfect house, of the perfect relationship. Perfect isn't on this side of glory. Amen. The end. We're done. I'm cooked. Full stop. So I think what we need to start doing instead is putting all of this away and remembering when we start to go that way, to remember that this was one of the things that we did as children. When I became a woman, I put away childish things. Isn't it time to start putting away some of these childish things? And that's exactly what perfect always is. It's childish, because it doesn't exist this side of Gloria at all. And I really believe that on the other side of glory, it looks a whole lot different than what we think it does. Maybe there's not going to be big pearly gates. Maybe there's not going to be streets lined with gold. Maybe that's all a metaphor. Who knows? Does it matter? What matters is this idea of what we're doing now with the precious commodity of time that we have, what we're doing now with all these choices in front of us, and what we're doing now as a community, with each other, with our families, the connections that we make, and the lives that we're leading. And are we leading them vibrantly? Because that, my friends, is a purpose right there in and of itself. Because that vibrancy, what do you think that does? It vibrates out. Vibrancy is vibrational. Good vibrations, just like the Beach Boys said. It vibrates out. And don't you think that you are touching lives when you're living your life vibrantly? Don't you think that you're connecting with the people that are around you, and even the people that you don't know who are observing you? You're making a difference. And that right in and of itself is purposeful. So I have for you, how many? 7 things for you to just, because I think we all know what I'm talking about here. But it doesn't stop us from going that way, because it's a tendency. We're drawn to this. Well, maybe this. Well, maybe that. Well, what do you think of this? And I get questions sometimes, like ask me about the blood type diet, or asking me about such and such a thing, or so-and-so's programs, or whatever they are. And all of them have some good things to be said about them. But what's the point? Why are we trying to gather this kind of information? What are we trying to do here? And all I'm saying is that maybe what we need to do is give our full-hearted effort into something, just one thing. And I'm going to make the rallying call, and I'm going to make a case right now for the Hot Melt Sprint, because it is our second to last Hot Melt Sprint of the year. And yes, I do want to see you end the year gloriously and victoriously, because that's vibrant. Okay? So I want you to think instead of what you have in hand right now. If you've done this, it's at savingdinner.com/sprint. There's an 18-page plan right there just for you, and it's free. You've got this in hand. What do you say? You take that, you print it off, and you use that as the perfect plan. So number one, the first thing you need to do is to start. And the starting is the printing of that plan and getting it out and just saying, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go all in. You know what? I'm going to do this. It's a decision. We all have a million different choices of what it is that we're going to do. But I know this, is that when we make a good choice with our time, we make a good choice with our food, we make a good choice with what we're going to, what our next thing is, our jobs, our relationships, all of that. When we make a good choice, we're making life decisions, because all of this is impactful. All of this impacts what's next on our plate, literally and figuratively. So think about, too, what starting does and how it creates this thing called momentum. It's a physics term. And just when you hit one domino, they all start to go down. And we start to see this. We start to get encouraged by it. And momentum keeps us going. So if we start, we're off to a good start, literally. Number two is to incentivize it. The research shows us that when we incentivize something for kids, for people, it's a human thing. It's a human conditioning response. It's not just for children, it's for adults too. Go ahead. What are you going to do at the end of 7 days? If you did this, if you did your sprint full out, excellently, not perfectly for heaven's sakes, what would you give yourself as a little reward? What would you do? Mani-pedi, a little time out with the girls, a new book, some new yarn for all you hand doers, right? Think about that and make an incentive, a reward there just for you. Ask your hubby to let's make an agreement that we're going to drop $100 into our vacation fund or whatever it is that you're doing. All of this stuff just helps to move the needle to go the way that you want to go. Number three is to gamify it. What about if you said to all the lovelies on the Hot Milk Sprint page, you said, let's do this. I'll beat you to it. Put a heart here if you've done the 4-minute workout 3 times a day. Whatever it is, do that and see how many people you can get on your little bandwagon. How fun is that? We have people still hot milk 30ing. And Tanya, she's on day 143 or something like that. A post every day or a post every night. She's putting one there. She's kind of gamified it for herself and done that to keep the momentum going and to be accountable. All of that, those are more, serious words, but it's gamifying it too. This is how we make it fun. Number 4, do date it. I work better under pressure, unfortunately. It's just the way I'm wired. I have when I'm working with a publisher and I have a deadline, there it goes. When the Carousel of Crazy, by the way, I didn't even tell you, get the Carousel of Crazy and the accommodating workbook at savingdinner.com/crazy if you haven't gotten your copy yet. And I'll sign it personally to you, by the way. But you can go get it there. But do that took me forever to get out the door because I didn't have a publisher with a due date on my head. But when I've signed contracts and there's money involved and exchanged, here's your advanced cash, now go give me a book, and I have a publisher who's waiting for that book, it's on time. Or if I see that I might need an extension or whatever of time, I've done that before too. But it gets delivered. You deliver the goods. And if you don't have a due date, we have a tendency to dilly-dally and to just, I'll get a little bit done here and I'll get a little bit done there. So here's what you can do. You know what you can do right now? Start. Print it off. Get a grocery list going, right? Um, go shopping tomorrow. Next day, get everything set up for it. Get your girls in a row. Get your team of encouragers going. Who's in on the hot milk sprint? Go post that in the group and say, I want accountability. I want to do this. I want to do this with everything that I've got. Who's doing it with me? You know, I'm not the head cheerleader, by the way. I'm the coach. I am not the head cheerleader. You are. You're the head cheerleaders, all of you. And you want people to do it with you, you want help, you want encouragement, you want support, then go out there and create it simply by posting about it. This is how we use groups to our advantage. This is how we do things in a way that helps us out, and it helps other people along the way out too. Number 5 is connect to it. Connect to it. This is how you bring in your why. Why do you want this? You know, if everything is going so swimmingly in your life, if you feel really good in your skin, then why even bother with the sprint? What's in it for you? What's the why about? And that's the thing that I want you to emote over and to really think about. Because when we connect to our why hard, we're connecting also to the solution to whatever our issue or problem is. And that's the thing that keeps us going. So we connect to the solution and we emote over it. There's no stopping you. Get out of the way. Watch it get done. See how the ball moves down the field. Unbelievable. And number 6 is go all in, 100%. Did you know that 90% is more mentally exhausting than 100%? You know why? Because when you're going back and forth in your head like a ping pong game, should I not, should I not, should I not, it's exhausting. And most people finally just cave and say, forget it, I just can't, whatever. I'm tired of thinking about it. Have you ever said that? I'm tired of thinking about it? You are quite literally tired of thinking about it. So instead, just say, I'm doing this, and there's just no question. And then you take a look at your social calendar and what's an obstacle that might be in your way. Maybe you're getting together with a bunch of friends and they're going to this fancy, Chinese restaurant or whatever. Can you say, hey, can we do a steakhouse instead? Here's the deal. I'm all in on this plan. This is what I want to do. And I want to be able to order it according to what I want to have for that day. Can we do that? Get solution oriented. Number 6, did I just say that was number 6? I did, didn't I? Okay, so number 7 is stop dabbling. You know what dabbling means? It means to superficially try. I think of dabbling as it's like doggy paddling, like this in the water. That's not going to get you far. You need to get out there and do a real, Australian crawl. Isn't that what that is? You're gonna travel the length of this lake. You're gonna have to do some actual swimming and not just this. Don't dabble. And you know what? Trying is dabbling. I'm gonna try the sprint. You're gonna try it, or you're gonna do it. Dabbling is piddling, by the way. That's my dad said, quit piddling around. It's just goofing off. It's just pretending. It's just sort of. And a very wise little green man said, do or do not. There is no, or try or try not. What is it? There is no try. Do it. Do it. And do it wholeheartedly. Because this myth, again, of the perfect plan does not exist. And just messing around and pretending is basically swimming in, treading water. Number 8 is commit to consistency and watch what happens. Have you ever done that? There it is. Do or do not. There is no try. Sorry. See, I got my quotes all wrong. You know about that? Do you know about this commitment to consistency? Have you ever felt what it feels like to be consistent and how you feel about yourself the next day, and then the next day after that, and the next day after that? When you commit to consistency, consistency will show up in your commitment. Funny how that works, right? one hand washing the other. I want you to remember this. You are way more powerful than you think you are. Way more stronger than you think you are. You can say no anytime to the carousel of crazy thinking. Just say no. Just say, you know what? I've done that. I've proven that doesn't work. I've proven that to be a solution with no solution. It's not a solution. It's more crazy making. You can do anything you want once you make the decision to do so. That's it. It's a very simple thing. Your choices are so much more profoundly decisive and so much more profoundly important when you say, I've made a decision. See how it sounds. Oh, I chose to do this. I've decided to do this. What sounds more strong? What sounds more putting your fist down? Decision. You can create momentum by simply doing one thing and then doing the other and then doing the other. Your focus just needs to be on what's next, not what's perfect, but what's next. I did my smoothie. I got my supplements. What's next? Need to do a 4-minute workout. What's next? Check my hydration. What's next? See what I mean? One thing, then the other. And this is how excellence happens. Excellence happens because you just give it your all 1 minute at a time, at a time, at a time. And then if you mess up, you don't throw the whole thing out. You say, you know what? I'm backing away from childish things. When I was a child, I thought like a child, but now that I'm a woman, I've put away childish things. All around you, I'm going to tell you right now, and especially if you rally your community, all around you there is help. All around you. There are rowboats, there are motorboats, and lots of helicopters. If you're waiting for perfect and the hand of God to literally come out of the cloud and to pick you up, you're going to be waiting for a long time. It's time to show up. It's time to step up. And it's time to claim the vibrancy that you want in your life. And I'm going to tell you right now, it starts with a sprint. So, savingdinner.com/sprint. Let's do this together. What do you say? Pinkies up. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate you. Peace be with you.
Thanks for watching. You can find us on YouTube on the Saving Dinner channel or on the Saving Dinner Facebook page. Check back daily for new episodes, Monday to Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you missed the live show, you can watch the replay. Until next time, pinkies up.